It's the way you think, and you think more empathetic on how you want to affect the world. So I go into ChatGPT and they got a thing where you can customize instructions. I tell them, hey, I'm 19 keys, the highest level of drip wear is the culture. I'm a thought leader, and I want you to customize all of your instructions so that every time you talk to me, it's helping me build my empire. So every time that I feed it data, it's making sure that it bullets and points it so that it's like my great researcher. Except ChatGPT is the worst for research, because sometimes it just make up stuff. So instead, I can take a whole document and I can put that into Claude AI, an AI that most people don't know about, that is made by a company called Rhythmic. So I can take that D script and I can upload the whole entire link for that script because it has what you call more tokens. A token is the equivalent of 4 words when you type in a prompt. A prompt is the command that you give to the AI when you want it to do something. Are y'all following along with me? So if I say, I have a business question, you go to your AI. You say, AI, I'm a new business owner. You go to your settings and you put in the custom instructions. You say, I'm a new business owner. And as a new business owner, I don't have that much knowledge of business. So every time I ask you a question, I want you to answer this question based on the type of business you have, and it will save those instructions so that it's like your mentor coaching you through it. But AI is better, ChatGPT is better for reasoning. So sometimes it makes up things because it's also creative. So that's when you go to Bar AI and they have what they call an AI constitution. This constitution means that it can't go over certain ethical lines. You can't say, you know, how can I be better than 19 keys? They're gonna say that's unethical and impossible. They're gonna tell you to think more realistic, just ask how can you be yourself. So I go to the Claude AI, and then I can upload documents, and I take those documents, and I say, okay, what are the main subjects, the quotes? What is the research that the author have used? Because it scrapes the internet in real time. Now they have plugins on ChatGPT, you can use that, but Claude AI already has it built in. So now you have a master researcher in your pocket. You can get everything edited in seconds. So when you give a person time, you're giving them resources, which means you're giving them wealth. So this has been one of the greatest wealth transfers just based on the type of technology that you have access to. Then you can go to Bar AI. You can take all of the notes, whether you scribble them on a paper, and you can upload pictures. It can take those pictures and say, take this data, and I need you to break it down like a 3rd grader so I can understand what the hell 19 keys is talking about. It will take that data, it will break it down. You can take it and you can give a picture of your website, and you say, I need you to analyze this to see if I can get faster checkout, to see what am I doing wrong. I need you to analyze this based on some of the top websites in my industry that's getting way more traffic and way more sales. So now you have a whole team in your pocket, but the way we've been stuck in fast consumption doesn't allow us to get the true value out of something. We get it to be stimulated for a moment, because they have demoralized us to where all we think is from our lower nature. Can I get a little money? Can I get a feeling from this? Because when you are unhealed, you're not focused. So we're not just talking about artificial intelligence, because I got to give you the higher level on that. But when we're talking about having the ability to heal yourself, having the ability to properly breathe, so when you do sit down, you're disciplined into your stillness because you have a vision that you're about to give birth to. But if you don't have a vision, if you don't have anything inside self, I can give you the greatest tools on the planet Earth, and you're going to do nothing because you have nothing. But when you have something, and I give you the tools, and I give you the resources, you can take over the planet Earth. And that's the time we're living in. We are living in a time where I had a brother put together this AI script from Midjourney. Now you can type in something and it gives you B-roll, which are videos that you can play just by typing in a sentence. What are your excuses is the question I have. That's the question. What are your excuses? Why aren't you executing more? It's because they keep you trapped in a contraption of attention, fighting for attention and trying to give you education. We say, okay, Sun Tzu said, fighting the war, the best way is to not shed blood. So we'll just merge them and bring them together, and that's when you get an Investfest. That's when you get high-level conversations. The reason why high-level conversations is able to do better than 99% of the podcasts out there, 99% of the shows out there, is because we did our research first. We understand that attention span is shortening and shortening. And I'm gonna give y'all some game. Because I wanna see the next generation of creators. I wanna see the next generation of thought leaders. that comes from this. Because this moment is just not about sitting here. This moment is what ripples from being here. This moment is looking at this and saying that we talked about having us a Black Wall Street for so long, but the Black Wall Street exists in your businesses. They exist in your ideas. They exist in every transaction that you make with each other. Because it's not just enough to have financial literacy, we need economic literacy. Because we don't just want to build our finances, we want to build our economy. We want to build our economics. We want to build our family. How y'all feeling? So there's something I call elements. Now, you can copy the blueprint, but the mind of the architect is always the originator. Remember that. So elements, or essentially, when you put together a business, or you put together a podcast or a show, I make sure that throughout the video, because they have something on YouTube called chapters. Chapters are where the AI goes and reads your video, and then they tell you about the different points in the videos that's being made. So if you got 30 different subjects in a video, it will break it down into those subjects. So when a person goes to your video, they can automatically find the point that they're looking for. So I make sure that every single video has at least 19 elements, because that's my number. So you might get in a video and they look at the thumbnail, and the thumbnail may have told you here, but 10 minutes in a video, you realize that this is way more than why you came here. You may look at the caption and be like, damn, this caption, they talking about business, they talking about spirituality and the cosmos. 10 minutes in, we may have hit you with some business information. So that's one element. One element is the thumbnail, one element is the caption, the other elements are the subject, another element is myself as a thought leader, another element is the guest. But we never made our conversations based on the guest. We made them all based on the topic. So no matter who I had on there, that did not matter. It's about what you're learning once you get in there. So even if you make it all the way to the last 10, the last 10 minutes, the last 20 minutes, we done switched into a whole new dimension of conversation. So now you're constantly being stimulated throughout the whole entire episode. Some of you are, unfortunately, because you're stuck in a fast consumption, you make the whole entire video just for the clips. Then you post the only clip that was worthy of watching in the whole video on social media. So therefore the clip gets 1 million views, the commercial goes platinum, but the actual movie, that goes dust. So what I want to see as well is you experimenting with more topics, because you keep trying to serve people the same low-level conversations that everybody else is having. How many people are tired of relationship podcasts? No disrespect to relationship podcasts. But what I'm saying is, shout out to my brother. Bad relationship podcasts. Because the problem is that when you unhealed, you're looking for something to validate your problems and issues, so you go watch it. But all they're doing is re-triggering, making it worse. So when you go watch something that's actually giving you solutions, now you start to make progress and get better, not bitter. So for me, giving that game is thinking about how to implement that, because sometimes I take a conversation to understand which clips I want to put out. I'll put it in Descript and I'll ask for a psychological break list to go on. But unfortunately, when you only do things for polarization or virality, you will lose. When you do things to create a classic, meaning something that's going to last throughout the test of time, it's the reason why 50 Cent can tour and some of the new rappers can't fill up a theater. But we're entering a new age, because I went on tour, UIL went on tour, my brother Wall Street Trapper went on tour, and we was able to get thousands of people. That means that we're entering into a new age where people are finding time to put value into things that are more meaningful. Because at first this wasn't possible. How many people in here have seen Who Cloned Tyrone? One of the most important parts of that movie was not just about who they cloned, it was about who they didn't clone. Because they know that if they duplicate certain people, then it's going to automatically create a change in the culture, and they're not going to be able to control you. They're not going to be able to duplicate you. So damn, they don't want to see another 19 Keys. They don't want to see another Rashad. They don't want to see another Troy. They don't want to see another one of you sitting in these stands, getting this knowledge, changing the dynamics of your family. We are first generation paper workers. That means that we weren't born with money. We wasn't given a position. That means we got to figure it out. This culture is immature. It means that you have to allow time for it to become what it's going to become in the future. Otherwise, we're stuck killing the messengers. Otherwise, we're stuck killing the future before it actually gets to a point where we can go through the flaws, we can go through the mistakes, and you fail forward, and now you know how to be great. But unfortunately, as soon as we see somebody great, we start research, investigating how to destroy them, how to take them down. Why? Because we're stuck in a survival mode. So we're afraid that the same thing is going to happen. So we end up producing a self-fulfilling prophecy. Reverse engineering the bad thing that we think is going to happen and making it going to happen, because that's the only vision we have in our mind. So when I tell you to think about the future, I'm telling you to dictate the future. Think about how AI is going to be used. You do have power. That's the one thing that they don't want you to know, is you have the power on where you spend your time. Because we all have a time budget. Where you spend your money, where you spend your energy, and the attitudes you have throughout life. That's your team. I look at wealth as wisdom, energy, attitude, love, time, and health. But one thing that we don't know about is the true wealth. Because if you have money but you're depressed, you're not wealthy. I know men that have millions, but how many people have committed suicide but they was rich? So unfortunately, we can't just push our community to go get money. We have to teach them the spiritual assets within self. Because confidence is worth more than money. Your network is worth more than money. Your ability to communicate, it can be worth more than money. Your soul can't be bought. The value of a soul is another soul. So anything somebody gives you for your soul have already degraded you and devalued you. And anytime you do something that goes against your values, you are selling your soul. Selling their soul every single day for cheap trinkets that don't matter. So when we're talking about true wealth, I started building myself up. I say start to grade yourself. You have wealth and assets, and then anything else is a liability, as my brother say. So if you have confidence, that's an asset. You have speak, that's an asset, meaning you can communicate. You have a network, that's an asset. But if you're depressed, you're stressed, you have anxiety, you have insecurities, you will end up spending all of your money to try to decrease your liabilities. So I would rather you already have joy, already have peace, already have happiness. And they don't want to see you do that because it's going to steal the consumer base. Because they know that you also have the power to control your spending. So if you're not happy, you will overeat. If you're not happy, you're going to overspend. You're going to put it in industries that control you and manipulate you because they know that you are unhealed people. So we have to do the shadow work. We have to do the work where we go into that part of ourselves we're ashamed to show the world. And then we put light and expose ourselves so that we can get better. So that when we're talking about our assets versus our liabilities, we're not talking about just our money, we're talking about our soul. We're talking about our spiritual power. Today we have all this power over media. Each one of you can pick up your phone and blast out a message. But unfortunately, black media is not getting part of that $400 billion that's being spent. So when you see us cultivating these platforms, when you see us building these things, it's your job to be the sponsor. It's your job to be like, you know what, I like that podcast, it got 20,000 views. Okay, 20,000 people times 30,000, what's the average budget of a person? If I pay them, then I can get my product in front of more people. But how many of you all constantly think about being an investor in black America? Because if nobody, when we look at the cap table, when we look at the amount of black businesses funded, they say it's 1.7% out of the trillions of dollars that go to businesses. So they get funded for just ideas. We have execution and still can't get in funding. And they play us by talking about we got diversity. Diverse for who? You ain't got nobody like 19 Keys getting none of that budget. You ain't got the diversity of the true culture. They give us these buzzwords so they can control the type of people that they invest in. But we no longer will accept that. But first we gotta stop accepting it from each other. The moment, how many people hit up EYL and like, listen, I got a budget for ad and spending, I wanna get on your platform. I wanna make sure that I'm putting money into this type of media so that as long as you grow, then I grow so that I can reach more people. Because if you have a business and you ain't got no attention, you can't sell to nobody. So I want us to be accountable because accountability has been lost. Everybody wants to live shameless. Nobody wants to be judged for anything. You talking about going into the age of pleasure. Damn it, where the hell is the age of discipline? Because it's going to take discipline to get where we want to go. It's going to take discipline to get free. It's going to take discipline to transform your family. It's going to take discipline to stand up as a man, to finally do what you know is right, but you have that mind that continue to defeat you. It's going to take discipline to take care of your woman. It's going to take discipline to show up every single day and not do what you want to do, but do what you have to do. We don't want to preserve that old culture. We're done with the old gatekeepers. We're done with those people taking our rappers and entertainers, giving us a contract that is the new noose, hanging them because they was ignorant, didn't know how to read and write, because they weren't financially literate. This is the movement of our decade. This is the movement of our time. This is the movement where the enlightened minds, the spiritual minds, the conscious mind, the God mind, we stand up. We take our time. We own our time. We own the industries, and we become assets to each other. No longer liabilities of this very culture we talking about, we trying to save. Everybody stand up. Future. I know that was a lot to put in the sentence, huh? Family, I love y'all. I don't want everybody to take this oath to continue to stay high level. I want y'all to meet me at booth 411. I have so much more to go through, but it's always what I want to say, and then it's what God wants me to say. And I want you to think about that in your life. There's what you want to do, and then it's what God wants you to do. And that's going to change your plans. Because what you want to do is selfish. What God wants you to do change the world. So think about what God wants you to do. Stop being selfish. Stop being afraid. Because when you make a commitment towards God, you become fearless and you become free. Let's stay high level.